I guess the clarifying question then is, if Dana and Hunter do come to you after this fight, they make the figures make sense to you, would you then be open to fighting Tom Aspinall, or are you categorically thinking, he does nothing for me, I will not fight that guy?
He does nothing for me. He does nothing for me. If you're a person that wants to see me really challenged, then I get it. 7 years younger, like 35 pounds bigger than me, right? I get it. It's like, wow, this John's so good. We finally found someone way younger and way bigger than him. Let's see how he does it. I get that narrative. But for me, if you were my manager, if you were on my team, why not fight against Pereira, a guy who's the same age as you, and we walk around the same exact size? Business-wise, it makes more sense. I'm going to call him this, fight the nobody that may be more dangerous, or fight the guy with all the accolades who's incredibly dangerous, but it actually will affect your legacy.
Jon Jones has just dropped a chilling warning that has Tom Aspinall and Dana White scrambling for answers. The heavyweight champion's latest statements reveal he could really care less about fighting right now, while simultaneously launching his own fight promotion that could spell serious trouble for the UFC's future.
If I were to ever lose, I would be devastated. I'd be angry and I'd be upset. For me, I'm so connected to winning. It's probably not even healthy. I see fighters that take losses and they smile and they hug their wives, better luck next time. For me, I'd be depressed.
Stay tuned, because this story has layers that go deeper than anyone expected, and the implications for combat sports could be game-changing. Let's start with Jon Jones's most recent bombshell comments on the Full Send podcast that have the entire MMA community buzzing.
What do you make of Tom Aspinall?
I think he's awesome. I think he should go on and have a wonderful career.
Do you think that he needs you?
No, I think he needs me. I think he's not in a position. It's just the truth. Because if I whoop his, it's going to be the next guy. There's going to be a whole new fan base of somebody who everybody believes in. I've done this my whole adult life. When you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it could be the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
What would it take to fight Tom Aspinall?
I'll see you guys later.
Jones, who remains the reigning UFC heavyweight champion, just delivered what can only be described as a psychological masterclass aimed directly at Tom Aspinall. But here's where it gets interesting. He's essentially playing mind games while admitting he doesn't even want to fight. I don't want to say that I'm retired because fighting's in my blood. Right now, I couldn't care less about fighting.
Is Jon Jones retired? Is he fighting again?
I don't want to say that I'm retired because fighting's in my blood. Right now, I could really care less about fighting. I've been doing it my whole life at a very high level. When the itch comes back, and if it comes back, then I'll do it with my whole heart. I'll do it to the best of my abilities.
But the real kicker, his warning to Aspinall was ice cold. I think when you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it can be the worst thing that ever happened to you. This isn't just trash talk, folks. Jones is essentially telling Aspinall to be careful what he wishes for, while simultaneously admitting he's not motivated to fight anyone right now. It's the ultimate power move, staying in control of the narrative while keeping everyone guessing. And here's what makes this even more calculated. Jones admits he loves being the ultimate troll, and that Aspinall simply isn't in a position to excite him anymore.
You retired, but now it seems like you're getting back into it.
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
just explain it, break it down for us a little bit?
I was retired. I felt like I was at a place where I've done it all in the MMA space, and felt like there wasn't too many more challenges for me, and I just wanted to do something more than championships and money. And Donald Trump mentioned that he wanted to have a fight at the White House Garden, and that just seems like such a huge opportunity. Just to be able to entertain the country and the world at this level at the White House, it just means the world to me. So I'm back.
Now, let's talk about Tom Aspinall's position in all this, because the interim heavyweight champion is caught in an impossible situation. Aspinall has been calling out Jones relentlessly, even going as far as declaring himself the undisputed heavyweight champion after claiming Jones is essentially retired. But here's the problem. Jones is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
Can you settle it once and all for fans? They want to know, are you retired or not?
We're not doing that right now.
Man.
We're not doing that right
Be
now.
sure to check out Dirty Boxing 2 tomorrow night.
Because I think you'll be back. What's the magic number to get you back?
If you come to Dirty Boxing, you'll find out.
You'll
tomorrow
find out.
night.
All right, cool.
But here's what's really eating at Aspinall. Jones's psychological warfare is working. The champion is sitting back, collecting his paycheck, and watching Aspinall get more desperate by the day. Jones even admitted, "My job for the UFC is to do what's right for the company. I could easily just say I'm not fighting. My job is to chill, and that's what I'm doing. Meanwhile, Dana White is promising answers about the Jones-Aspinall fight in the next couple of weeks. But everyone knows who holds the real power here.
I'll just come out and ask you. Do you think he's ducking Tom Aspinall?
No. Jon Jones, I said it a million times, I'll say it again. He's never ducked anybody. Listen, he was offered what he deserves for that fight. Why he decided not to fight, you guys will have to ask him that.
But here's where this story takes a massive turn that nobody saw coming, and it's potentially the biggest threat to the UFC's dominance we've seen in years. Jon Jones isn't just playing games with his fighting career. He's launched a direct competitor to the UFC called Dirty Boxing Championship, or DBX, alongside former UFC fighter Mike Perry.
Tom Aspinall has never fought 25 minutes. Tom Aspinall knocks everybody out. If there is a time to get Tom Aspinall, it's right now, where he has not learned how to fight 25 minutes yet. Yeah. There's going to be a time where he gets pushed to 25 minutes, and he may get through it, but he may struggle with it, especially if it's a guy that just wrestles him over and over and over and over. Remember Francis, when he first fought Stipe?
Yep, just wrestled him over and over and over
Francis
and over.
looked like he saw a ghost. Yeah. But then the second time,
he went
25, he understood. I'm not going to put everybody out of here. Yep. I got to save something. That's what's going to happen to Tom. Right now was the time for Jon Jones to fight Tom Aspinall.
Well, not anymore because he's retired now. Like he's. I would be shocked.
Do you believe that?
I think so. I think there comes a point in time in an athlete's career where, you know, obviously he don't leave the house unless he's making $100,000. So he's obviously loaded with money, right? He had $30 million on the table to fight.
No.
And I think he's like, you know, I think I'm done.
This isn't just another small-time promotion, folks. This could be a legitimate game changer, and here's why. DBX offers something the UFC doesn't: boxing with elbows allowed, creating a hybrid combat sport, less damage to fighters according to participants, career longevity for aging athletes, a fresh format for a new generation of fans.
Everything is possible in your life when you believe. When you believe, everything is possible. You have two hands. Everything is possible. Go. Go. And take it whatever you want to do.
Former UFC title contender Yoel Romero is already singing DBX's praises, saying, "Athletes don't suffer much damage. It will be more enduring for athletes and the promotion." Think about this for a second. Jon Jones, arguably the greatest fighter in UFC history, is now Dana White's direct competitor. The same fighter White called the unequivocal greatest combat athlete ever is now potentially poaching talent and creating alternative opportunities. Jon Jones has essentially positioned himself as untouchable. He's not desperate to fight. He's got his own business ventures, and he's holding the entire heavyweight division hostage while building his own empire.
I was doing this shit! Come on, John. I see you. You be sparring with them Russians. Fucking play.
And here's what should terrify Dana White the most. Jones isn't just leaving the UFC. He's offering an alternative that could extend fighters' careers and reduce damage. That's attractive to both aging veterans and young prospects thinking about their long-term health. We're potentially looking at Jones versus Aspinall joining the ranks of legendary fights that never happened, like Anderson Silva versus Georges St. Pierre, or Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones in their primes. The question isn't just whether Jones will fight Aspinall anymore.
Hard time reaching Jon. Oh, Jon landed a high kick. He out. It is all over. Got the neck. Jon Jones has to. Jones to the body, and it is all over. It's been an honor to watch you become the heavyweight champion, and I can't wait to see you again. Welcome back, and congratulations on achieving your goal.
Last thing.
The greatest of all time, ladies and gentlemen, Jon Jones.
Jon Jones has the bombshell message that has the entire MMA world talking. Jon Jones just dropped a statement that's got fans, critics, and even Dana White scratching their heads. The former heavyweight champion, who gave up his belt just months ago, is now claiming he's still the champion. But there's so much more to this story. Let's dive in. So here's what happened. Jon Jones recently appeared in promotional material for ketone energy drinks. And guess what was printed right there on the advertisement? UFC heavyweight champion. Now, here's the problem. Jones hasn't held that title since June, when he retired and relinquished the belt to Tom Aspinall. Fans immediately called him out, with one user straight up saying this was a lie. But Jones's response? Pure Jon Jones. He fired back on X, saying, and I quote, "Man, we should have stamped Forever Champion on it. After everything I've done in the UFC so far, I still wake up every morning feeling like the champ of the world. That's a feeling no one can ever take away from me."
I'm not in any way being disrespectful when I say this, but there's a mean streak to Jon Jones that you see when he's fighting. And when he's doing his interviews, he hides it. He's kind of, friendly, etc., etc. But when you put somebody in front of him, they are food, right? He is trying to rip you apart. That edge is really what makes Jon Jones great in mixed martial arts, because he finds the edges of the rule book where he can push and really try and do damage to you.
Now, that's either the confidence of a legend or the delusion of someone who can't let go. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But wait, there's more to this story. Let's rewind to June 2025. After months of controversy and accusations that he was holding the heavyweight division hostage by refusing to fight interim champion Tom Aspinall, Dana White announced Jones's retirement while in Azerbaijan.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
The MMA world thought that was it, the end of one of the most controversial yet dominant careers in UFC history. Tom Aspinall was elevated to undisputed champion, and fans finally had closure. Or so we thought. Because just weeks later, Jones pulled the ultimate plot twist. He announced his comeback. Why? Because President Trump is hosting a UFC event at the White House on July 4th, 2026, and Jones wants in.
Yo, just wanted to wish you all a very happy and proud 4th of July. Hope you guys were safe this year and that no one lost any fingers or anything like that. Dutch, lay down. That's a good boy. USA, USA.
The man went from retired legend to active fighter faster than you can say testing pool. He's back in USADA testing, listed as active on the UFC website, and apparently still considers himself the rightful champion. But here's where it gets interesting, and this leads us to our next segment. Dana White is not having it. If Jon Jones dropped a bombshell, Dana White responded with a nuclear bomb at the UFC 318 press conference. When asked about Jones potentially headlining the White House card, White didn't mince words. He said, and this is huge, "I can't risk putting him in big positions and have something go wrong, especially with the White House card. Ouch." That's basically Dana saying, "I don't trust you, Jon."
I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong.
Fair enough.
Yeah, especially the White House card.
And honestly, can you blame him? Let's run through Jones's track record. White's position is clear. Jon Jones is too much of a liability for the biggest UFC event in history. But Jones wasn't going down without a fight. He responded with what he called disappointment, saying he's staying in the testing pool and training like a professional. He even said fighting at the White House would give him greater purpose, beyond paychecks and belts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, UFC fans all over the world. Jon Jones, the greatest fighter of all time, potentially, possibly. The guy that retired recently, about 2 weeks ago, because he didn't want to fight Tom Aspinall, because he'd been there, done it. He's living his best life. He's got nothing more to prove. He walked away from the sport, essentially undefeated. He has been retired for 2 weeks, maybe less than that. That gets a bit blurry depending on what the timeline is. But according to Twitter, apparently, according to Twitter, his Twitter, not general hearsay, Jon Jones has unretired. That is correct. He says that he is now back in the testing pool. Check this out. So, of course,
the question is this genuine motivation or just another Jon Jones manipulation? Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Jon Jones's legacy. There's no denying his achievements. 28-1 record, dominated 2 weight classes, spent 1,743 days as the pound-for-pound king, and defeated legends like Daniel Cormier, Lyoto Machida, and Quinton Jackson. But his recent actions have people questioning everything. Former opponent Dominic Reyes didn't hold back, saying Jones strings everyone along and lies, and accused him of running from dangerous fights.
Analyzing this fight, what rounds do you believe that you won?
All three, first three, easily.
First three.
He had nothing for me. He might have landed 2 punches in all 3 of those rounds.
Did you watch
Yeah,
it? We all watched it.
4 and 5, he took me down 4 and 5. But I got up in 1.5 seconds. Like, now that counts as nothing. He took me down, wasted energy, I got up and then elbowed him.
Reyes specifically called out how Jones avoided their rematch after their controversial UFC 247 fight, a fight that even Dana White thought Reyes had won. According to Reyes, Jones said he wasn't being paid enough to fight someone too dangerous. Sound familiar? That's exactly what fans are saying about the Tom Aspinall situation.
Jon actively goes like this. I would be facing him and he would literally put his fingers in my face like this, like, I dare you to run in. So then I punched down on his fingers, and that was from OSP. When he's trying to stick his fingers in your face, just punch down on him.
What was that preparation like with Jon?
Well, the preparation, mad. 5 rounds, third 5-round fight.
Who was able to give you those same looks as Jon?
OSP showed up one time to help me out. Just not letting Jon do anything he wants to do. That's how we did it. If he wants to stand there, attack him. If he wants to attack you, move. Grapple, break the grapple. If he wants to strike, kick him. Because he loves to dictate the pace. He's a genius fighter. So good at making you fight his fight and then trapping you.
That pressure of, it's Jon Jones, it's a fight, gets to guys. We saw it in the surreal Gon. Gon just kind of
quit.
That's what it felt like. I'm not saying he did.
It
allegedly
looked like it.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Here's the hard truth. Jones might have the skills and accomplishments to be called the GOAT, but his pattern of avoiding the biggest challenges is starting to overshadow his achievements. When Alexander Gustafsson pushed him to the limit at UFC 165, Jones called him his toughest opponent. But when it came time for real threats like a prime Reyes or current Tom Aspinall, suddenly there are contract disputes, retirements, and excuses. So where does this leave us?
The captain! The captain!
Jon Jones is training, he's in the testing pool, and he's making it clear he wants that White House fight. But Dana White has essentially said, thanks, but no thanks. Tom Aspinall is the undisputed heavyweight champion and has been calling for this fight for months. The fans want it, the division needs it. But will we ever see it? Or will Jones continue this forever champion mindset while avoiding the one fight that could truly cement or destroy his legacy? The ball is in Dana's court, but Jon Jones seems determined to keep playing games. And that's the latest on the Jon Jones saga.
I mean, I don't want to slag him off, but it's some like bad fight IQ.
No, that's what we said going into it, lad. Obviously, he's explosive, he's fast, but his fight IQ is not good.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Because he was like going there, picking you right up off the floor, which gets a bit of a scream off the crowd, slamming you, and you were going,
yeah, and getting
straight back up. I'm like, you could have saved half the energy and been on top. Oh. You know what, it's weird because he's obviously like a really fit guy, but if you do a sprint for 5 minutes, no one's going to be fit, are they? That's what he does. He just goes out there, he throws from like here, swinging, everything he does, he's picking up full blast. It's just, it's mad for someone who has that many fights. I'm just surprised.
Michael Chandler sends a clear bombshell message to UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall, firing back with explosive comments after the British fighter questioned his fight IQ. In a move that's got the entire MMA community talking, Chandler hits back at Big Goober Tom Aspinall's fight IQ criticism with a Jon Jones dig that cuts deep into the heavyweight division's most controversial storyline.
Just say you'll fight him. He refuses to say still that he'll fight Tom Aspinall because he was walking through an airport and they were saying, so will you fight Tom Aspinall? And he's like, I fight whoever the champion is. Well, that's Tom Aspinall. I said, yeah, but the fight's not going to happen for a year. So we'll see who the champion is at that time.
This is developing into one of the most heated exchanges we've seen this year. So let's break down exactly what happened and why this feud is far from over. Let's start from the beginning. UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall was recently training with Liverpool's own Paddy Pimblett, the same fighter who dominated Michael Chandler at UFC 314 with devastating ground and pound in the 3rd round. During a breakdown video on Aspinall's YouTube channel, the British heavyweight didn't hold back when analyzing Chandler's performance. Here's what the champion had to say. It's bad fight IQ. It's weird because he's a fit guy. But if you do a sprint for 5 minutes, no one's going to be fit, are they? That's what he does. He just goes out there, throws, swinging. Everything he does is picking up full blast. It's mad for someone who has that many fights. I'm just surprised.
I thought that's like some, I mean, I don't want to slag him off, but it's some like bad fight IQ.
No, that's what we said going into it, lad. Obviously, he's explosive, he's fast, but his fight IQ is not good.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Because he was like going there, picking you right up off the floor, which gets a bit of a scream off the crowd, slamming you, and you were going...
Yeah, and getting
straight back up. I'm like, you could have saved half the energy and been on top.
And as soon, like, no, when he done that a few times, got back up, and then I jumped for the flying triangle and kicked him off me. And as soon as we separated there, when I kicked him off, I seen him go.
Yeah.
And I just knew he was fading already. You know what I mean?
It's
started putting a bit more shots in on him.
You know what, it's weird because he's obviously like a really fit guy, but if you do a sprint for 5 minutes, no one's going to be fit, are they? That's what he does. He just goes out there, he throws from like here, swinging. Everything he does, he's picking up full blast. It's just...
Aspinall's criticism centers on Chandler's all-out brawler style, that relentless forward pressure that's given us some incredible knockouts, but also contributed to his struggles in the octagon. The numbers don't lie. Chandler has suffered 5 losses in his last 7 UFC fights, with wins only against Dan Hooker and Tony Ferguson since jumping ship from Bellator.
Michael Chandler is now 1-5 in his last 6, but he's always been exciting and a fan favorite. What do you make of his performance tonight and work?
And he's always in the fight. I mean, he's always in the fight. You know, tonight was a big night for Paddy Pimblett. People, like we were just talking about, people have been doubting Paddy Pimblett every single fight he fights, and he's undefeated in the UFC. But Chandler's like our Arturo Gatti, man. Every time that guy goes in, you know you're in for a good fight. You know it's going to be a war.
But as we're about to see, the 39-year-old veteran wasn't about to take this criticism lying down. Michael Chandler's response came swift and brutal, and he went straight for the jugular with a comparison that's sure to sting. Taking to threads, Chandler fired back with this scorching reply. Didn't that big goober say this like 3 years ago? And then waited as long for Jon as I did for Conor after he criticized me for waiting for Conor? Cool. Now, let's unpack this, because Chandler is drawing a direct parallel between 2 of the most frustrating waiting games in recent UFC history.
I hit him, he went down to his back, pulled guard. Gaethje hit him, hurt him, he went down to the guard. Poirier hit him, hurt him, and he went down to guard. He was knowingly forcing himself to go to the guard and forcing you to make a decision. Okay, you hit me. Okay, I went down. Now come into my world. And most guys don't go on top of him.
Chandler spent nearly 2 years on the sidelines waiting for Conor McGregor to return. They coached opposite each other on The Ultimate Fighter in 2023, were scheduled to headline UFC 303 in June 2024, but McGregor pulled out with a toe injury. That fight never happened, and McGregor still hasn't competed since breaking his leg against Dustin Poirier in 2021. Similarly, Aspinall had been waiting for Jon Jones to defend the heavyweight title against him. Jones held the division hostage, showing little interest in fighting the interim champion, instead preferring to face older legends like Stipe Miocic.
I see a lot of people, comparing me to Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler waited for a long time for Conor McGregor and stuff like that. Great. I'm not looking to fight Jon Jones. I'm looking to fight for the undisputed heavyweight champion. That's what I want to be. I want to be the UFC undisputed heavyweight champion.
The key difference? Aspinall was actually criticizing Chandler for waiting around for McGregor during this time. And now Chandler is throwing that hypocrisy right back in his face, calling him a big goober in the process. To fully understand why this response cuts so deep, we need to examine the Jon Jones situation that finally reached its conclusion last month. Jones had been the heavyweight champion since submitting Cyril Gane in 2023, but he only defended the title once, against Stipe Miocic. The entire MMA world was calling for him to face Aspinall, the interim champion who had been putting on spectacular performances. But Jones kept stalling, kept making excuses, and kept the division in limbo. The saga finally ended when Dana White abruptly announced Jones's retirement from an event in Baku, Azerbaijan, elevating Aspinall to undisputed champion status.
Heavyweight division, take the title away from him.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
Chandler's point is crystal clear. Aspinall criticized him for waiting around for a big money fight with McGregor, but then did the exact same thing with Jones. The only difference is that Aspinall was forced to wait by UFC politics, while Chandler chose his path. But here's where it gets interesting. Many in the MMA community are pointing out that Aspinall's situation was different. He was the interim champion waiting for a logical unification bout, not chasing a money fight like Chandler was with McGregor. This war of words comes at a crucial time for both fighters, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Tom Aspinall will make his first defense as undisputed heavyweight champion against Cyril Gane at UFC 321 on October 25th in Abu Dhabi. He'll be coming off a 15-month layoff, but the British destroyer isn't worried about ring rust. Ring rust is all mental anyway, Aspinall recently stated. We can expect an improved version of me. I've had a year to train, and I'm going to show everyone what that's all about.
Well, I am the best heavyweight in the world, but I want to show everyone that I'm the best heavyweight in the world. Cyril Gane's lost 2 title shots, and I want to give him his 3rd and get him out of there.
But here's the pressure. According to retired UFC welterweight Matt Brown, the entire heavyweight division's credibility is on the line. If Gane, who has already failed twice to capture heavyweight gold, defeats Aspinall, it validates all the dismisses. Dismissive talk from Jon Jones and potentially sets the division back years. Meanwhile, Chandler is looking to bounce back from that brutal loss to Pimblet. His first fight after ending the McGregor wait didn't go as planned. Charles Oliveira outpointed him over 5 rounds at Madison Square Garden in their rematch.
It's almost an unfair comparison, right? When we talk about pressure versus pressure, everybody's under tremendous pressure. But I guess when you kind of look at it from not just pressure, but potential legacy and career and what's on the line, I think it's hard to not go with Tom Aspinall because the heavyweight division is on the line. If Gane goes in and beats him, no disrespect to Gane, love the guy. The heavyweight division loses a lot of respect. Even if Tom goes out there and it's a close fight or he gets dropped and then has to come back or something, like the heavyweight division has so little respect right now, probably deservedly so, I think. You know, with Gane getting his 3rd title shot in a couple years, like Tom has to show that he is the heavyweight division. You know, he has to prove that to the world. Like I am, you know, the heavyweight division's not just shit, but like I'm so good that the heavyweight division is shit, right? This is kind of his thing that he has to go out there and prove to the world. And if he goes out there and loses to Gane, you know, the division already is not respected. That brings Tom down significantly, I think, right? And of course, you know, the potential Jon Jones fight, which is whatever, who knows, right? Like how he beats Gane, assuming he does, may play a factor too. Like if it turns out to be a close fight, again, John's going to be on his phone with Twitter open watching this fight, like just waiting for Tom to fuck up and get dropped, get leg kicked and limping a little bit. Or, you know what I mean? John can't wait for that moment.
The Big Goober comment has particularly resonated with fans, showing that despite his recent struggles, Chandler still has that fighting spirit that made him a fan favorite. But beyond the verbal sparring, this exchange highlights a bigger issue in modern MMA: the tension between merit-based matchmaking and money fights that can derail careers and divisions. This feud between Michael Chandler and Tom Aspinall represents more than just hurt feelings. It's a clash between different philosophies of what it means to be a fighter in today's UFC. Will Aspinall prove his critics wrong and establish his dominance against Gane in October? Can Chandler channel this anger into a career-reviving performance in his next fight? And will we ever see these two settle their differences in the octagon? One thing's for certain, this war of words has added another layer of intrigue to an already fascinating heavyweight landscape. That's all for tonight's MMA Central. Keep your gloves up, and we'll see you next time for more breaking news from the world of mixed martial arts.
I never once mentioned his name. He goes to X and he says, DC said he wants to kill me at his house. I already buried him twice in the octagon. 3rd time I'm bringing the shovel. Not true. I never said I wanted to kill him at my house. Those aspens must have left more than bruises. I feel like I'm the most painful thing that ever happened to that man's life. Emotional damage. Okay, lot to unpack there. I do a job. I can't omit that. No, actually, because of our history, people want my take on what's happening with Jon Jones more than anybody. But we can't fight. So it's like, why would I let you occupy space in my head? Only an insecure person would go, immediately, he's talking about me. You can't say you're the most painful thing that's happened in a person.
Yeah, there's another quote I want you to react to. So Jones said this recently: I believe I beat Daniel Cormier at heavyweight worse than I beat him at light heavyweight.
Okay.
Yeah,
Molly,
let's have a real talk. Just you and I.
You're messy, Molly. Yeah, you and I and the rest of you.
You and I, yeah.
Okay.
So you and me.
Let's make this true to everybody.
Okay.
Udonis will tell you, because he saw it. Udonis likes watching fighting. Jon Jones, when I was actively fighting, said I would not fight Daniel at heavyweight because it gives him an advantage. That's where he's best at. Molly, I'm 46 years old. I am retired. I swing a golf club. I swing a golf club in my free time. Yeah, he's out of his mind. I wish you saw the rest of the quote because he said something. What did he say? It was like,
he said he fight better than I do.
It was much better or much worse.
It was not correct English,
It was
Molly.
bad English.
Yeah.
It was very bad English from Jon Jones.
Daniel Cormier has just dropped a bombshell response to Jon Jones' controversial tweets. And let me tell you, DC is not holding back this time. We're breaking down everything that went down, the deleted tweets, and why this feud might never end. So grab your popcorn because this is about to get heated.
It seems as though Jon Jones does not like being talked about by two of the biggest voices in this game. I'm going to pull the curtain back for you guys. I know what Jon Jones made in Thailand. I was offered to coach this show with Jon Jones. Jon Jones's resume is impeccable. Jon Jones's star power, his ability to sell, matches up with anybody in the business. But guess what? Daniel Cormier's resume matches up with anybody in the business. Daniel Cormier brings eyes like people in the business. He's got me talking in third person. Jon Jones don't make more money than me in a week. Jon Jones makes more money than me when he fights. We over here eating. The biggest paydays you ever had were tied directly to me. We did it together. And I'll be honest with you, yeah, I'm talking about you. And I'm talking about you and I'm getting paid to talk about you. But I don't fight no more because all I can really do is talk. That's what I do. You fight. Or at least you're supposed to fight. You're talking about me. You're talking about Francis. You're talking about Chael. And almost ignoring the right thing. You can then stick it to everybody like you've done on so many different occasions. And tell them about it. I can tell you guys on good authority. If I was still fighting today and I was still the heavyweight champion and Tom Aspinall was the #1 contender, I would have already fought him. 1,000%. Knowing how dangerous, it would have done nothing but excite me. I mean, this dude, Jon Jones, still talking. Come on.
All right, let's set the scene. Last week, Daniel Cormier was on the UFC 318 weigh-in show. You know, just doing his job as a commentator. During a segment called Rapid Fire, DC gets hit with this question. Who would be the person you want to fight the most and in what arena? Now, here's where it gets interesting. Cormier's answer. He said he'd want to fight the person he hated the most at his house because, and I quote, I kind of want the ability to kill him, so I'd like to do it at my house. Now, here's the key detail everyone needs to understand. DC never mentioned Jon Jones's name. Not once. But then Dan Hellie, the show host, makes this comment asking if the person's name rhymes with bomb, clearly hinting at Jones. Everyone laughs, but again, DC never actually said the name. But guess who was watching? Guess who immediately felt like this was about him? Jon Bones Jones. And boy, did he come out swinging with not one, but 2 deleted tweets that absolutely exploded across social media. First tweet, DC said he wants to kill me at his house. I already buried him twice in the octagon. Third time, I'm bringing the shovel. A blind man can see the mansion I own in Daniel's head. I just didn't realize how deep his hate still runs. Those ass whoopings must have left more than bruises. I feel like I'm the most painful thing that ever happened to that man's life. Emotional damage. And Sid. Now that last line about being the most painful thing, that's where Jones crossed a major line, and DC is about to explain exactly why.
John, can you hear that, John?
You got your ass whipped today, buddy.
No, I didn't. You're a pussy.
Oh, yeah, you did it. I had you on
You're
your back.
such a little...
I had
Oh
you
my
on your
God.
back. I had you on your back. You suck, bro.
You're such a little...
Yo, felt so weak. I'm glad to know that.
You're tiny. I'm
Yo,
like, this dude sucks.
Daniel Cormier just released a YouTube video that is absolutely devastating. And when I say he dropped bombs, I mean he leveled Jon Jones with facts and logic. First, DC makes it crystal clear. I never once said Jon Jones is the person I was speaking about. I never said it. Go back and watch the clip. But here's where DC gets real. He calls out Jones for being insecure. Only an insecure person would go immediately. That he's talking about me. No, maybe I wasn't, but maybe I was. You don't know.
I never once mentioned his name. He goes to X and he says, DC said he wants to kill me at his house. I already buried him twice in the octagon. Third time I'm bringing the shovel. Not true. I never said I wanted to kill him at my house. Those asses must have left more than bruises. I feel like I'm the most painful thing that ever happened to that man's life. Emotional damage. Okay, lot to unpack there. I do a job. I can't omit that. No, actually, because of our history, People want my take on what's happening with Jon Jones more than anybody. But we can't fight. So it's like, why would I let you occupy space in my head? Only an insecure person would go, immediately, he's talking about me. You can't say you're the most painful thing that's happened in a person's life when they've lost a child. That's the craziest thing in the world. You say I'm the most painful thing that's happened in a person's life when they've lost a child or their father got murdered. But again, he knows that. But that's why you know you're dealing with a different type of human being. When they can know that, they can know all those things, very well documented, what has happened in my life to say that. I didn't say his name. I'm only talking about what is the news now and also how stupid he is. But that's Jon Jones that thinks about me. He's still trying to fight me. When I'm retired, they got a dude that wants to fight him and literally begging him to fight. And somebody, tell Jon Jones, get off my page, man. Like, dang, what is he doing? Watching what I do? Come on, Jon.